Hi, my name is Hannah, and here is my story. You may despise me or even judge me, but you know what? I hate my mom. Yes, it's true, and I'm not going to make excuses. That woman ruined my life. How did that happen? Subscribe and find out. And don't forget to like if you loved the story. I've always been a quiet person. I like to spend time reading and being alone with myself. In junior high school, I started having skin and dental problems, which caused me to be teased and insulted constantly by my classmates and older students. I remember carefully applying ointment to every inch of my face every night, hating my braces and dreaming how one day I would wake up incredibly beautiful and make everyone regret their words. And one day, that's exactly what happened. Skin meds, a trip to camp where I had my first kiss, and tons more. And then I got my damn braces off. Oh my god, I've been wanting to do that for so long. My teeth were almost like Hollywood actors. It turned out I had incredibly long legs and a pretty good figure. So after coming home from camp, I immediately took all my pocket money and went to the mall. That's where I ran into Naomi, the biggest gossip in our school. Naomi always looked gorgeous and wore the most fashionable clothes. Of course, I hated her for bullying me. But now she admired how I changed over the summer. So we went shopping together. It was so cool. I couldn't even believe it. One of the most popular girls in school eating McSundae and chocolate with me. Showing me her TikToks and advertising me on what would suit me. And you know who would just die of envy? Lily from Parental. Naomi was happily looking at a top that I thought was too revealing. Why? I asked, embarrassed. Because with that figure and my advice, you'll easily beat Nick away from her. Nick was the arrogant high school boy that all the girls dreamed of. He was always kicking me and calling me a weirdo. So I just had to rub his nose in it. But when I got home, happy and shopping, I got some shocking news.
We're getting a divorce.
I think it was my dad who said that. He and Mom were sitting there with their eyes down. The bags full of clothes fell out of my hands. But why? My breath hitched with excitement.
Your mother betrayed me. I won't stand for it.
Suddenly, my father slammed his fist on the table with all his might, stood up and walked out. Mom burst into tears and ran after him. And I was left standing in the middle of the living room, trying to comprehend everything that had just come over me. Dad was demanding, sometimes nervous, but I loved him. My mom and I always had a wall. She didn't like everything about me and hated spending time with me. I only told my grandmother about all my problems when she came for the holidays. But I didn't believe she could do that. However, all thoughts of the situation between my parents disappeared when, on the first day of school, I saw how my previously hated classmates reacted to me. The most popular beauties gave me angry looks. The hottest guys turned around. What did I tell you? A short, thin top, a mini, and it's cool. Naomi met me outside of class. And then this happened. You know, like in rom-coms, when some cool girl walks into a room in slow motion and all eyes are on her? Her hair blowing around like the wind, everything about her is perfect? I guess that's what I looked like in Nick's eyes. When I walked in, he was right beside me.
You look good as new.
Is that all the compliments you're capable of? And I saw Nick blush for the first time in my life. The one who'd made fun of my braces and yelled the loudest that I was a freak. But for some reason, instead of tasting victory and getting even with him, I wanted to kiss him. Of course I didn't. But Nick was totally into me. The notes in class, the Kinder on my desk, the balloon heart by my locker. I honestly tried to remember my resentments, but on Valentine's Day, he made me a huge Valentine's card and asked me to dance.
I really like you. Forget about everything and let's be together.
I melted. We started dating. Every second, my thoughts were on Nick. He was my escape from what was going on at home. My dad gave the house to my mom, but I was angry. He knew what she was like, but he left me with her. Mom really acted like I was bothering her. We didn't talk much. She seemed to be spending time with her lover. But I was glad she did. A year went by. Nick became a student. We kept seeing each other. I saw my mom more and more gloomy. Her relationship wasn't working out. So she suddenly turned her attention to me. She found out I was seeing someone and started demanding to meet me.
Let's get acquainted and all the questions will disappear.
Nick smiled. I didn't want to, but I finally gave in. My mom ordered dinner. Nick came with a beautiful bouquet for her, and he was polite. I noticed that Mom had been eyeing him meticulously all evening, and after he left, she angrily sniped at me to put the dishes away. So, could he come over sometimes? I asked timidly. Okay. Mom waved her hand and went into the bathroom. But then I noticed something strange. Mom was in a better mood. She updated her closet, bought fitted dresses with cleavage, changed her hair, and started smiling. She even started baking cookies and treated Nick and me to some when he stopped by. Did you have someone over? I asked. But Mom just smiled slyly. I might have. How are things with Nick? Things were bad. Lately, it was like Nick had gone cold. Everything irritated him. The way I ate, the music I played. I was worried. I consulted with Naomi. You haven't had anything yet, have you? Maybe that's the point. Naomi laughed, watching me blush. When I invited Nick to visit me, he looked at me coldly and said no. Are we okay? I asked frustratedly.
We need to take a break.
Nick turned around and walked away without another word. I was in so much pain. I didn't understand what was happening. You can spend the night at my place. Naomi assured me that we'd find a solution together. I left a note for my mom that I wouldn't spend the night, took my things and went to Naomi's house. But it turned out she was having a party she hadn't told me about. Why do you need it? Let's have fun. I tried to distract myself, but my thoughts kept coming back to our conversation. So while Naomi gossiped with her friends, I slipped out of her house and went home. I just wanted to be alone with my thoughts. I opened the door and heard romantic music. It sounded like my mom had decided to have a date while I was gone. And I walked through. I glanced around the living room and froze with shock. Mom was sitting on the couch in a translucent dress, making out with Nick. He was gently stroking her cheek, and she was wrapping her arms around his neck. I yelled, and they bounced away from each other like scalded animals. Nick looked guilty, but I didn't see any guilt on my mom's face. In fact, she was angry that her date had been interrupted.
I'll explain everything.
Nick took a step toward me. No! How could you do this? How could you? I was out of breath. How long? How long has this been going on?
A few, weeks.
Get out! Get out!
Hannah, I'm sorry.
He bowed his head and walked towards the exit. I turned to my mom. Why? Because you and Dad ruined my life. I wanted to shine, but I had to stay home. You'll find someone else. You've got your whole life ahead of you. I slapped her and ran outside crying. 3 months passed. I moved in with my grandmother and lived with her. I'm not going to school yet. Nick keeps texting me, but I have nothing to say to him. I've been betrayed by the people closest to me, and I can't forgive them. Could you forgive someone like that?